start for the Red Sox. He takes that losing record that he brought over with him from Chicago, puts a little eraser on that. That all goes away. He simply starts all over as he works here tonight for Boston. One thing, though, Ned, he has never beaten this Toronto ball club, but he is working for a ball club tonight that has done some damage against him, certainly in the last 2 seasons, and he's working for a ball club that's going to put more runs up on the board for him than the one he just left.
Incidentally, he is 1-1 against the Red Sox this year. He doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Starting lineups right after this. The Blue Jays is Tony Fernandez at shortstop, Rance Mullenix at third base, Lloyd Mosby in center field, George Bell in left field, Jesse Barfield in right field, Cliff Johnson, the hitter, Willie Upshaw at first base, Ernie Witt catching, and Damaso Garcia at second. The Red Sox will have Marty Barrett at second base, Wade Boggs at third, Bill Buckner at first, Jim Rice in left field, Don Baylor, the hitter, Dwight Evans in right field, Rich Gedman catching, Kevin Romine in center, and Ed Romero at shortstop. The umpires will be Larry McCoy back at the plate, Vic Voltaggio at first, Tim Welke at second, and Mark Johnson at third. And out on the mound, the man that they've just been giving a standing ovation to ever since coming on from the bullpen, which was just a few moments ago, Tom Seaver walking in with pitching coach Bill Fisher. They started to cheer then. The groundswell just kept going up until now.
One of the few times I've ever seen a starter get a standing ovation going to the bullpen. Certainly seen a lot of them coming back. As Seaver about this initial start for him in a Red Sox uniform, here are his thoughts.
The one solid feeling that you have is knowing that you're going to work and being able to come here and on the first day get the press done, and then on the second day go ahead and get back into work and do the thing that I love to do is something that I think is very a stabilizing factor for me.
Well, this is Mr. Seaver in his initial pitch as a member of the Boston Red Sox. What may be a memorable night for him as he goes against Tony Fernandez, and it's foul back, strike one. We're underway.
Well, of course, if happiness has anything to do with it, this is where Seaver has wanted to be, not necessarily in Boston, but on the East Coast, closer to his home. And I can think of a lot of things that could disturb a player, and I think that's some of the things that bothered Seaver this summer.
He misses outside to Fernandez. It's 80 degrees at Fenway before a packed house. Needless to say, Fernandez is hitting .315, 4 home runs, 27 batted in. And Seaver misses high, ball 2. Tom had already been on the disabled list once this year. He's 2-6 with the White Sox. In tight, ball 3. And with a 4.38 earned run average, one of those wins was against the Red Sox, and one of the losses was against them, against Bruce Hurst. There's one line toward left field. That's going to drop in there. One hopper, two hopper to the wall, chased down by Rice. Tony Fernandez, who's a killer against Boston pitching, does it against the new Boston pitcher. Fernandez opens with a double. Seaver getting behind on the count, 3-1, before giving up that double.
Seaver certainly still efficient as far as innings pitched and hits given up. Very good at that column, 6 below. Some things just never change, though. Fernandez against it doesn't make a difference who puts that uniform on, as long as it's got Red Sox attached to it somehow or a Boston label. Fernandez is going to get his base hits.
The pitch is just a little bit low and inside to Rance Mullenix, the third baseman. Mullenix hitting .270, 8 home runs, 30 batted in. The pitch is outside for ball 2. The last start that Seaver made in a White Sox uniform was on the 25th of June against the Minnesota Twins in Comiskey Park. He went 5 innings, gave up 5 hits and 3 runs. 1 walk, no strikeout. He was no decision in that game. Pounded off the foot of Mullenix. 2 balls, 1 strike. talking to Jerome Holtzman of the Chicago papers, who's here. He's coming where the story is. He's coming where Seaver is. And he said, I don't know what he didn't look too good in there in Chicago, but he'll be pumped up tonight.
Mullenix with one off the foot, still stinging.
Slice foul down the third baseline and going into the seats. The wind is a hitter's wind tonight. It is blowing from home plate out to center field. Straight out.
Very thorough as we have a chance now to watch Seaver and start after start after start, hopefully. He's so thorough that before he made any kind of warm-up pitch from that mound tonight, he checked the firmness of the ground down the third base line, immediately in front of the mound, and down the first base line. Tells you a little something about him.
2-ball, 2-strike count to Mullenix, and the Toronto trainer is going to attend Rance. He's really bothered now by that foul ball off his right leg, right the shin, apparently. That'll chloride to be sprayed on Mullenix's leg. Is really hurting. The runner at second base, Tony Fernandez. Mullenix has a count of 2-2, and he will flex her leg around a little bit now and stand in. Seaver, the classic pitching form with the leg drive that so many pitchers try to emulate. Strikes him out. Seaver gets his first strikeout. Something off the pitch that time, and Mullenix was caught leaning.
Over Seaver's career, where he has been the toughest pitcher, becomes a real pitcher, is once men getting scoring position, regardless of how many outs there are or really what inning it is. Kind of toy around with you. He'll make you hit him into trouble, and then he'll put out all stops to prevent you from scoring.
Such a very tough competitor throughout the years. Lloyd Mosby, the center fielder, hitting .295, 12 home runs, and inside comes the pitch, ball one. Over the career of Tom Seaver, 306 wins, 198 losses, and an earned run on average of 2.84. There is Mullenix, still rubbing that right shin where he got hit. Ball is laced into left field for a base hit. Runner will be waved on. Fernandez coming. Here comes the throw from Rice. Not in time. 1-0 Toronto. An off-field single by Lloyd Mosby. He knocks in his 45th run, and quickly Toronto takes the lead. So a double by Fernandez, the strikeout by Mullenix, and a single by Mosby.
Mosby shooting that ball hard right through that gap. Hard charge put on by Rice. Too much speed at second base, though, for Fernandez to have much of a play for Rice at the plate. The throw just late, period. Edmund knocking it down to keep Mosby from making the turn at first and going to second.
Quick run for the Toronto Blue Jays off Tom Seaver. The batter is George Bell, cleanup hitter and left fielder. Bell, 318 average. Seaver will move over there. Bell has 14 home runs. He's knocked in 55. Seaver playing catch with an old rival. There's a lot of National League seasons there between Seaver and Buckner. Always playing against each other. A strike to Bell. 0-1. Bell in last night's game had one hit. It was the home run into the screen and left. He went 1 for 5. There goes the runner, chopped toward the left side, taken by Boggs, has one play to first base, and in time. Mosby took off. They had no play on him. The ball was slowly hit, so Lloyd gets into scoring position, and Bell is thrown out by Boggs.
Good play by the Red Sox third baseman, not only on his range to the left on this soft hit ball, he's got to go all the way around. Now, he's lost sight of the bag, remember. He has to pick Buckner up quickly. How accurate is that? Now, if you want to look up quickly when this play is all over, because Boggs has had to leave the bag at third for his coverage, who's over there? Number 41, Tom Seaver. Second time he's been there already in this ball game.
He misses outside to Jesse Barfield, the right fielder. Barfield at 286, 19 home runs, 56 batted in. And Jesse was held hitless last night, 0 for 4, and that's an unusual occurrence against the Red Sox. He's usually had pretty good luck against Boston. 1 ball, no, 2 balls, no strikes. Mosby at second base, 1 run in the first inning. Seaver wants another sign. Checks out with Gedman. 3 infielders on the left side, as was the case last night against Barfield. Barrett way over on the third base side of second. And they work Barfield outside again. Ball 3. Bill Buckner, the only infielder on the right side. There's a phalanx of fielders over there in white on the left side of the infield, and Buck about there. Outfield straight away. Barfield goes for 3-0, fouling it off. 3 balls and 1 strike. Seaver, 41 years of age, from Fresno, California originally, now lives in Greenwich, Connecticut. Last year with the White Sox won 16 games with that club. He walks Barfield. Runners at first and second. First walk given up by Tom. Now Cliff Johnson comes up. Johnson was held in check very effectively last night by everybody. He went 0 for 5, struck out twice against Al Nipper. Seaver missing outside, ball 1. He will work a hitter. He's always had control through his career. Led the Mets to the pennant and world championship in '69. Picks up the strike. And it's 1-1 to Johnson, who has 10 home runs and 38 runs driven in with that .291 average. Steers it away, and it's ball 2. Seaver dramatically won his 300th victory last August in New York against the Yankees, just before that mini strike mess that happened. The Red Sox were in Chicago at the time to play there. Ground ball right side to Barrett. And they get 1 run, that's all. They lead 2. Toronto gets a run in the first. And at the end of 1 inning, it's Toronto 1 and the Red Sox coming up. Bottom of the first inning at Fenway Park. The Toronto Blue Jays off to a quick 1-0 lead against Tom Seaver. And facing Seaver tonight, an old adversary of the Red Sox, whom, well, they have a pretty good record against him over the years, Doyle Alexander.
He can be the type of pitcher, though, that can give the Red Sox hitters some trouble because of the various speeds of pitches that he throws. And if he's got pretty good control, which he usually will have, he can tease some hitters to death. 5-3 record on the year. This will be start number 17 for him. Has not had a decision in his last 2 starts. A 3.99 earned run average. He's given up 18 home runs. That's been the soft spot as far as Alexander is concerned. Strong and base on balls, though. He's walked just 18 in 108 innings of work. And if these Toronto Blue Jays are to do any kind of damage, obviously, in this American League East race, they certainly have to do something with Steve. And this man, Doyle Alexander, has to be considered their kingpin because he is one of the more stable kind of guys, consistent guys that they've had on that staff in a long time.
The last start was his shortest outing, actually. He only went 3 1/3 innings. His last win was against the Milwaukee Brewers, 9-2, and that was over 2 weeks ago, the 16th of June. So he is primed and ready. Over his career, the Red Sox have beaten him 11 times. Or rather, they have beaten him 15 times. He has beaten the Red Sox 11 times. 11 and 15 career-wise against Boston. And also, this year, is 0-1. Roger Clemens beat him up in Toronto in that long rain delay game.
That's something that didn't make Mr. Alexander very happy. And at the time, he knocked front office management about holding that game up so long for 2 reasons. One, because of the rain. And secondly, because they were facing Roger Clemens. He didn't figure that there was much need in playing that game if they didn't absolutely have to.
Well, in a way, you know, it was a business decision, I guess, because they had a good advance sale. But you don't want to be facing Clemens in the middle of a hot streak, rain or no rain. And true enough, Clemens beat them. Marty Barrett, who makes a habit lately of getting a hit his first time up in a game, takes a strike from Alexander. Barrett is up that average to 286. Had a fine game last night. 4 hits. This time he may be retired. Barfield under it in right. And they finally get Barrett in the first inning. He'd gone 5 straight games getting a base hit right off the bat. So Barrett is out, and Wade Boggs comes up, hitting .382 with 5 home runs, 38 batted in. He had 3 hits last night, and a very big sacrifice that was good in the 10th inning to get Barrett, who led the inning with a single, up to second base and set the stage for all the walks, the hit batsman, and the walk to Evans that eventually won it. Mullenix gingerly kind of limping around there at third base. A ball. Detroit at New York. The Tigers did not score in the top of the first. Yankees now batting. It's Frank Tanana against Doug Drabek. Two 2-0. Milwaukee at Baltimore. Bill Wegman against Flanagan tonight, Mike Flanagan. Boggs looks at ball 3. Minnesota plays at Texas. The White Sox are at California. And Cleveland won a laugher today, beating Oakland this afternoon in Oakland 9-0. Ball 4. Boggs draws a walk. He's on with 1 out. Bill Buckner hitting .238, 8 home runs, 40 batted in. In that Cleveland-Oakland game, 9-10-0 for Cleveland, 0-7-1 for Oakland, and a lot of people were thrown out of that one. Dave Stewart, a pitcher, was ejected in the 7th, along with Pat Corrales, the Cleveland manager, and acting manager Jeff Newman of Oakland. Obviously a beanball incident. Pop up towards shortstop and Fernandez. Buckner is out. There are 2 away in the Red Sox first. And the Boston strong boy, Jim Rice, coming up. A single, a double, and a home run last night. Three for 5. Getting him up to .330 in average. He has 7 homers and 53 batted in. Went almost 2 months before hitting a home run at Fenway. Last one was early in May until last night. Mel Hall hit 2 homers for the Cleveland Indians today. Brooke Jacoby hit 1. There's a strike. Tony Bernazard hit 2. Indians had 5 homers in that game in that 9-0 win over Oakland. The Indians staying right up in there in the pack in the American League East. Rice goes to right field. Base hit. Boggs takes the turn. He will hold there, will not run on Barfield. And runners are at first and second with 2 away.
Unless Boggs has a chance to look up and catch Barfield going way to his left or way to his right, he can forget about third base. Barfield blessed with a real rifle type of arm. I think Boggs just tiptoed around there to see where that throw may go. That was about it.
A white streak coming into the cutoff man. Don Baylor up. And he's hit by a pitch. Third time in the series. Bases loaded. He got hit twice last night. And on he creeps toward 243.
He just doesn't budge up there. That ball not that far off the plate. Of course, he crowd the plate, always has in his career. He just doesn't give. He doesn't budge. He just takes them, goes about his way. He, by now, I'm sure, has a little bit of a knack. That ball, kind of a glancing blow off the forearm. Nonetheless, it's one that does a little more than stings.
But he's not doing it against Nolan Ryan, thank heaven, anyway, right now. Or people who can throw hard. That ball did sting a little bit more than some of the knuckleballs he's taken. Dwight Evans is the batter with the bases loaded. It was Evans who walked last night in this situation in the 10th inning to force in the winning run. He had 3 RBIs last night. He has a total of 42 now. 0-1 from Alexander.
Dwight's been working the last couple of days with a little stiff neck that Gedman had earlier in the year. It doesn't bother him as much to swing as it does to really throw, although it didn't bother his throwing last night.
Into him for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wind blowing out, remember. Toronto leading 1-0 in the first. Off speed. Inside. Ball 2. Baylor, Rice, and Boggs around the horn, first to third on the bases. High fly ball to left field. The wind may help this one. They are going to let it play off the wall. And 3 runs will score. 3-0, 3-1 Boston. A wall double by Dwight Evans drives in 3.
Talking about timely. If there's less than 2 outs, you don't score maybe but 1 run on this ball, maybe 2. But with the 2 outs and the bases loaded, that ball is hit. Everybody's tracking. Ball skidding that wall on the way down. Here comes Mosby on the backup to get it in. Everybody scores.
3-1 now. The Red Sox take a quick lead, and this is another explosive first inning for them. They got 3 in the first last night. Rich Gedman up. Ball 1. On the outside corner, 1-1. Gedman, 267. 1 hit last night. He also had a walk and a sacrifice. The bunts were getting down pretty nicely last night. Hard swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Montreal and the Cubs went 7 innings. Game that was suspended due to darkness. They'd had a rain delay earlier. And that will be resumed Wednesday at 1 o'clock before a regular game. 0-0 it was his score after 7. 2 ball, 2 strike count to Gedman. Slap foul, 2-2. Chili Davis hit a 2-run homer for San Francisco in the first inning, putting them ahead of Atlanta 2-0. Two ball, 2 strike count to Rich Gedman. And it's ripped into left center field. That will get another run home. Evans comes on to score. Gedman goes for 2. He's got him. 4-1. Hard shot to the gap in left center by Rich Gedman.
Just watch him play. It's awfully pretty. Timely hitting once again, this time by Gedman. He shoots the gap. He'll trade places with Dwight Evans at second. Timely hitting indeed.
So very quickly, the 1-0 lead erased. Another big first inning for Boston. Kevin Romine takes the strike. The youngster up from Pawtucket who was in the lineup last night in place of the ailing Tony Armas, the bad ankle. Tony was hitting today, taking hitting. It's a little better, but not able to play. Off-speed pitch, strike 2. Romine went hitless in 5 trips. He did score a run. Gedman at second. And that's all for Romine and the Red Sox. But 8 come to bat, and 4 of them score. And after 1 inning, Boston leads 4-1.
More time, the Red Sox do a little demoralizing work to an opponent early. They answer a 1-0 lead with 4 of their own, capped off, really started all by the double by Evans. Hit the left field wall on the way down. Everybody running, of course, on the 2-out swing of the bat. 4 RBIs now for Dewey and 1 at bat, actually.
Yep.
Going back to last night.
Not counting that walk.
Right.
Plus 2 with 9 innings earlier than that. So he's got himself a pretty good series going. Willie Upshaw is the batter. A 1-ball, 1-strike count to the first baseman. He's hitting .265, 2 homers and 31 runs batted in. Seaver is down low. Evans has knocked in 6 runs in the series so far. Little pop-up left side, and Wade Boggs. Upshaw is out. We'll have a station break on the TV 38 Red Sox network.
You are tuned to WLBZ, Channel 2, Bangor.
At Fenway Park, it's Ernie Whitt, the catcher for the Blue Jays, at the plate in the second inning. 1 out. Toronto trailing the Red Sox 4-1. Tom Seaver ran into a little bumpy trouble in the first inning, giving up the double to Fernandez and a single to Mosby, and also walking Barfield, but the 1 run was all they could get. Check swing, foul. Whitt with 8 home runs, 26 batted in. Had a couple of singles last night, drove in a run. Hammers 1 foul. They play him that way most of the time anyway, to pull. 0-2. Yankees got a couple of runs for Doug Drabek in the first inning down at New York. They lead the Tigers and Tanana 2-0 after 1. Milwaukee 2, Baltimore 0 in the second at Baltimore. Seaver comes in tight. A ball. Look at that drive, that leg drive that he still has had all his career. And he shoves off from that mound. Here's a base hit to right center field. Pulled out there now by Ernie Whitt. A 1-out single and the 3rd Toronto hit.
See, it looks like he's really trying to work down, certainly down. It had some good turn on that ball. Of course, Whitt just really eats up pitches that from the knees down. Good shot from the side at those Tom Seaver legs.
gets scraping on the dirt all the time. There is a strike to the number 9 hitter, Damaso Garcia, who's at 284 with 2 home runs, 26 batted in. To third, and it's a fair ball. Boggs to second, out at second base. Ernie Witt is called out. Welke right in there on the play, on the good angle, and they get the force and knock down the lead man. 2 out.
Not only a good play by Wade Boggs, but a heads-up play. This ball takes a little funny bounce on him. He says, I got a catcher running going from first to second. I'll take the force play on him. He would have had to really come up and fire strongly to go all the way across that diamond to get Garcia. Plenty of time to knock off Witt, though, on the force play.
2 out. Fernandez, the batter, doubled and scored in the first inning. Fastball, ball 1. He had 2 singles and a double last night along with a walk, and he reached on fielder's choice, but that was the 3rd out of the inning. He scored 2 runs. He had a perfect leadoff man's night last evening. One ball, 1 strike.
This really bugs Tom Seaver, or any pitcher of his type. Bob Gibson, certainly one of them. I like to get that ball. I like to get into a routine, a timed routine for them, and go, go, and go. That hitter backs on like Fernandez does there. That bugs them a little bit.
Line drive right to Barrett. Marty Barrett with the catch. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. Red Sox leading 4-1.
Jays play again here tomorrow night at Fenway Park. Game time is 7:35. And the pitcher of the month for June, Roger Clemens, will be working for the Boston Red Sox against the Blue Jays left-hander Jimmy Key. Red Sox and the Blue Jays also play on Wednesday night at game time at 7:35. Let's make that Thursday night to add on to tomorrow night's game. Seattle Mariners will be coming to Fenway to play the Red Sox on Friday night at 6:05. That's the 4th of July. Saturday afternoon at 1:05 and Sunday afternoon at 3:05. Note the game change there. Saturday and Sunday's game against the Mariners will be Red Sox wristwatch weekend at Fenway. First 17,000 fans entering the park age 21 and over will receive a free Red Sox Budweiser wristwatch. The Oakland A's come to Boston for 3 games beginning next Monday, July the 7th at 8:05. Tuesday and Wednesdays, July 8th and 9th. Those game times at 7:35. Get your tickets at the Red Sox ticket office, or you can call them at 267-1700.
Garth Orge is the new 3rd baseman for the Toronto Blue Jays. That wrap off the shin on the foul ball is enough to get Rance Mullenix out of there. So Orge is the new 3rd baseman and will bat in Mullenix's number 2 spot. This is why he's out of there. Why Mullenix, after giving it a try, had to leave. Romero is the batter, and it's a 2-ball, no-strike count. Eddie Romero punched in a very important double in last night's game in the 6th inning when the Red Sox scored 4 times. To shortstop Fernandez. Takes it exploding at his feet, gets rid of it in a hurry, and Romero is out. Tony Fernandez. The more you see of him, the more you like him. His play both offensively and defensively with these Blue Jays. The reason that they were able to trade Alfredo Griffin. Marty Barrett flied to right field in the 1st. Ball 1. Red Sox leading 4-1 as they bat in the 2nd. There's a strike to Marty. Barrett in the 4-hit game last night went from 277 to 286, a 9-point jump. He's 0 for 1 tonight, though. He's 285 now. Deflected to second base. and taken care of by Garcia. That ball's headed for center field and would have made it, but Alexander deflected it. It's a 1-4-3 play on Barrett.
Alexander covering himself up nicely. He gets that glove up just quickly enough to slow it down, change directions. Garcia able to stop his movement to the right, return, and throw out Barrett.
Boggs, the hitter. A ball. Monty mentioned Roger Clemens has been named pitcher of the month, and why not, for the month of June. Boggs goes to left center field to the wall. It is going to be high off the wall, and Boggs, coming into second base, will slide with a double.
Boggs with his 22nd double of the year, starting to take a little more work now. He started to spray that ball around the ballpark. Baltimore wanted to pull the ball. He said, Art, I'll pull it. I'll get my base hits over there. He returns to Fenway, one of his favorite places, of course, playing a little pepper with that ball. Once again, Bell gets caught in too close, and Mosby has to make the throw on the backup.
With Boggs at second, 2 out. Buckner is the batter. He popped a shortstop in the first. Ball 1. Clemens has already been named pitcher of the month twice this year. Once in April, of course, for that great game against Seattle, the 20 strikeout game, and others. And in the month of June, well, he just roared. 6 wins in the month. 2-0 to Buckner. Wind whipping out. More from first towards second, toward the wall now. And Buck lets the breaking pitch go down for ball 3. It is 3-0. Mosby picking up a little grass and determining the wind himself out in center field. There's a strike to Buck. 3 balls, 1 strike. Breaks it down to second base, bobbled by Damaso Garcia, but he recovers in time, and that is the inning with 1 hit and 1 left. At the end of 2, Boston 4, Toronto 1. 4-1 Red Sox, 3rd inning. Monty.
We'll just move this right along here. Oh, a lot of business to get done sometimes. Garth Oyge up there first for the Toronto Blue Jays. He coming into this game in the top of the bottom of the 2nd inning with the injury to Mullenix. Seaver on an outside corner for strike 1. Gorge hitting .262. He's had 2 homers and 18 RBI. Gorge sees times against right-handers at any rate. Certainly he did in Toronto in that series up there when Garcia was out of the Blue Jay lineup. He was playing second base in place of Garcia. 2 balls, 1 strike to count. Tried to reach the high one from Seaver and couldn't do it. The count is even at 2-2. No reason for Seaver to smile already tonight. Red Sox got him 4 runs in the first. Fly ball, lazy fly ball into center field. Romine has it. 1 away. At the press conference held around the ballpark here yesterday with the experience of a Tom Seaver, he was asked did he figure he could help another Red Sox pitcher on this staff. mainly Roger Clemens.
Somebody asked me if there's anything I can do to help Clemens, and I said I certainly think there is. There's two things. When I'm home, tell him what time the game starts, and when I'm on the road, to tell him what time the bus leaves.
Not the size of it. Very realistic.
How about that for some help? Clemens, of course, 14-0, looking for 15 tomorrow night. Mosby all the way around in the cut, 0-1. Mosby with that RBI single to left. Kind of brought a little frown to Mr. Seaver's face in that first inning. But that was it for the Blue Jays, just one on the 2 hits. Tries to bunt his way on this time. Gedman out, really got in the way of Seaver there. Seaver really a cat off that mound. It would have been a close play had Seaver been able to fill it. He would really had to have stayed down and thrown right to that position. And Mosby will be given a base hit.
It was a nice bunt by Lloyd Mosby. Kind of just held the bat back, let it fall off the bat, softed it out there, then Gedman got crossed up going out for it. It goes as a base hit on the bunt single, and nothing Seaver could do about it right at this point.
Next time that happens or that situation comes about, Gedman will be standing right at that plate telling him where to throw it. So probably won't get in his way. That's just not being familiar with the pitcher and the coverage that Seaver has off that mound. Little delay because of, once again, a beach ball loose out in toward the triangle in right center field. Here's George Bell. Rather healthy cut there, I'd say, by the Toronto left fielder.
Boy, he jumped at this as if it's gone downtown on the little slider by Tom Seaver. Toronto's the only club he has not beaten. Pitching for Chicago, of course, he hasn't beaten them. He has a chance, though.
Looping fly ball, right center field. On comes Evans. He has it. They got Bell going to the opposite way. 2 down. 0-4 career-wise against the Toronto Blue Jays. Notice that note on the Red Sox stats today that you just mentioned about the Blue Jays being the only club he did pitch or hadn't won a game against. Everybody else in the big leagues he has, though. And oddly enough, 2 pitchers hooked up here tonight. Seaver with 2 clubs that he hasn't beaten. Doyle Alexander has beaten every club in the big leagues. Wild swing by Barfield. No contact. 1-1 to count. Red Sox leading 4-1. That number right there, you combo that on the back of Tom Seaver. And Mrs. Tom Seaver, along with one of the 2 daughters, Nancy, in the very pretty blue.
She hasn't missed too many of his games, no matter where he's pitched.
Actually, I suppose that's both daughters right there. And daughter Sarah, I would guess, would be the taller-looking young lady. She was born in 1971. I'm not sure if the other young girl there is Ann or not. Born in October of 75. Barfield on the hip of Tom Seaver. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mosby, the runner at first, with 2 down in the Toronto 3rd inning. Out of play.
Actually, Seaver pitched 2 very fine games against the Red Sox earlier this year, back in April. In the first week of the season, on the first road trip, he beat him 3-1, and he lost to them 2-1 here. They only got 3 runs off him in 15 innings. Bruce Hurst both times.
Hurst has had a thing against, or going for himself against the White Sox, too, at his somewhat short career in the big leagues. The colder, the better. They really tie up Barfield, and he fouls it off his foot.
And get Ron Shepard ready pretty soon to come in the outfield. These guys keep putting themselves out of ball games.
That's a big-time foul ball there because it didn't lose much velocity on its way down to Boggs, who's playing fairly deep at third.
Big cut by Jesse on a pitch that was just biting in on him, and slammed it right off the foot, the left foot.
A little more movement now on that Seaver fastball. He'll make it do a few more things. Admittedly, the velocity, and understandably, not there that it once was. There's the breaking ball. Not only perfectly thrown, but maybe just a bit out of that strike zone. That's the second strikeout for the Red Sox right-hander. And the Blue Jays do not score on a hit. They leave one. And after 2.5, Boston leads 4-1.
Changes because of national TV network commitments. The Red Sox-Seattle Mariners game at Fenway on Sunday, July 6th will now start at 3:05, and the game with the Oakland A's on Monday, July 7th will now start at 8:05.
Bottom of the third inning for the Red Sox. Jim Rice, Don Baylor, and Dwight Evans to face right-hander Doyle Alexander of the Blue Jays. Alexander with a little sneaky fastball there right by Jimmy. Rice with a base hit to right field in the Red Sox first inning. Put runners at first and second at that time. Alexander making this start tonight with 3 days rest. First time he's done that this year. But he would be of the type pitcher that could probably do that and not have a lot of problems with it. Of course, earlier in this game of professional big league baseball, you always worked on 3 days of rest. Maybe the designated hitter had a little something to do with that, with more innings for starters because they were not pinch hit for in the 5th or 6th innings, or sometimes earlier. Once again, the delay, a beach ball out in the triangle in right center field. Maybe Rice wanted to do a little umpiring, and home plate umpire Larry McCoy looked like he wanted to give him the ball strike indicator. Two balls, one strike. Foul away on the opposite side. The count evens now to Jimmy, 2-2. Alexander, as a starter in 1985, made 4 such starts with only 3 days rest, and in those events had a 1-1 record with a couple of no decisions. And it's a full count now to Rice. Boston leading 4-1 as we start off the bottom of the third inning. Each team with 4 hits. The payoff to Rice. Pop foul backing out of play. Alexander against that start, or the start against Roger Clemens in Toronto on that 2-hour and 47-minute rain delay night, worked a complete game, giving the Red Sox 3 runs, but that was just enough for Roger Clemens on 6 hits. Walked 1. He struck out 9, did Alexander. Roger beat him 3-2. Toward the gap in left center, George Bell cannot get to it. Rice around first with a turn. He'll go for 2. The throw not in time, and Rice has a double. He continues to lead the American League in doubles. That is number 25 for the Red Sox left fielder. So this time he gets the head of the bat out on that 3-2 pitch, not thinking about right field on this one at all. Bell tried to get there to cut it off, but just couldn't get there in time. Good strong throw, just too late. Don Baylor fouls that one away. Career-wise, Jim Rice now 27 base hits and 68 at-bats against Doyle Alexander. There's that turn by Rice. The throw, you look right down the barrel of it from left field. 0-1 to Baylor. High fly ball, shallow center field. Now Mosby dropped backs a couple steps to get set. Rice tags. He's coming to third. The throw. Hits by the third baseman and backed up nicely by Alexander to save a run there. Orge could not handle the throw. The Red Sox, with some aggressive base running, took advantage of it. Maybe that throw got caught up in the slide of Jim Rice, and Orge could not see it, because I don't think he even gets a glove on it. So although Baylor doesn't really get to the right side, he gets the job done with nobody out. He'll advance Rice as Rice tags, and he'll come hard to third. The ball hit Rice on the slide. So Orge would not have had a chance. It didn't make any difference if he had seen it or if he didn't. Alexander right where he should be, though, to back that play up, to keep that ball out of the Toronto dugout. The big production guy for the Red Sox tonight, Dwight Evans, a 3-run double. Pops it into shallow right field. Strong throwing arm in Barfield. Rice will just stand. He will not come on this. Cut off by Upshaw. No chance for Rice to tag and score on that ball to right. So that's out number 2 in the Red Sox third. And it'll be up to Rich Gedman to try to plate Jim Rice. Gedman, a double to left center following Evans' double in that Red Sox first inning. And driving in Evans with the 4th Red Sox run, manager Jimmy Williams. Alexander with that little kind of sidearm squirter pitch, too low to Gedman, 1-0. And that one is outside. Red Sox batters against Toronto this year. Rice has the most base hits against him with his 2 tonight. He now has 10 base hits already in this just the 5th game against the Blue Jays. Hit hard, but Garcia does not have it. He flips it up. He turns. Not in time at first, and Boston leads 5-1 as Rice scores from third. Garcia tried to put the Olay on it, actually had the ball in his glove and flipped it out. Flipped it up close enough to him in the air so that he could get to it and try to recover, but his throw too late, and Gedman beats it out. This ball really smoked by Ritchie. Garcia just flipped it right up in the air. Now he'll have to chase it, turn, and try to throw. Too late to Upshaw. Kevin Romine, the hitter, checking on that scoring on the Gedman play. Looks like it's going to be a base hit, and it is. A base hit for Gedman, his 2nd RBI of the night. Romine to Origin, past him. This ball will look for the corner. It's going all the way into the corner. Here comes Gedman. He's waved around third. There will be no throw to the plate. And Gedman comes all the way around from first, and it's 6-1 Boston. Kevin Romine with a double.
Well, the Rook gets his base hit now. Not his first one as a member of the Red Sox, but the first one since coming back. He ripped it, and it got down involved in that corner. And when it gets involved there and goes back and forth, Lashman says, come on, Richie. Gedman scores. 6-1 Boston.
More timely hitting by the Red Sox. Certainly by Gedman. That ball there down deep in that corner. He'll only get as far as the cutoff man, as Gedman is held up by Romero, and it's 6-1 Boston. 2 in here in the third. Here's Ed Romero. Oh, tailing sinker to Eddie. 1-1 the count. Dennis Lamp in the game last night for the Blue Jays actually was not effective as he let the Red Sox get back in the game. Getty lays off a high pitch from Alexander, and it's 2-1. Four in the first, two here in the third. 6-1, Boston leads. Getty out in front of the off-speed pitch from Alexander. RBI number 25 for Getty on the year. And for Kevin Romine, his second major league run driven in. Had one last year. Inside, and it's a full count now to the Red Sox shortstop. Ball 4 as it tails off the plate inside. And Romero will work his way to first. That's the second walk given up by Alexander. Harry Williams in a quandary, as you might guess he would be. He is seeing one of his better pitchers get wrapped around a little bit early in this ball game. Alexander being touched so far for 7 hits and 6 Red Sox runs. Witt with his word over for Alexander, back behind the plate. Marty Barrett ready to step in. Alexander flagged down a sure base hit for Barrett. His last time up, Marty 0 for 2 on the night. That play in the second off of Alexander's glove right to Garcia, who had stopped and backtracked. Fielded in time to throw out Marty. And Alexander off the mark once again. Or is he? Nope, he's on the inside corner. 1-1 to Marty. Red Sox continue to play kind of spread out baseball. If it's not the top part of the order doing damage to you, it's the middle. If it's not the middle, it's the bottom part. And Marty's been at both ends of it on different occasions. Earlier in the year, when he was batting lower in that lineup, 7th and 8th on occasions, he often was a spoiler for the Red Sox. And since he's moved to that leadoff spot, I'm not so sure he hasn't been more of a spoiler, Ned.
He's been kind of the upbeat ambassador for this team, too, in the last month or so. He's the guy that keeps saying, we're going to get him tomorrow, forget about the loss, and has become sort of a spokesman for them. Even though he's not the captain, he is the live wire on the group.
He's down in the count here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A little bit too much time. Now Alexander with a little pitch change as he wipes up on the shirt. Arnie doing a fly ball to left field, curling toward the seats and out of play. Broken bat. He'll have to make a trip to the dugout. That might have been the favorite one. The way he had the little pause at the plate and looked at it, and that little shake there says, maybe.
Had to tell it goodbye.
Sometimes that's really a hard thing to do. You get one that just feels right to you, and especially one that you've been getting a lot of base hits with. I don't know if Marty's one of those hitters that bone their bats. They get the big suit market bone and attach it, actually bolt it down.
Here is where it comes off him, right off the thin part, right near the handle. The little foul ball down the line, and he sees it and says, see you later.
Take that big soup bone, take the barrel of the bat, rub it back and forth, get that grain all nice and tight up there. This one again foul, but not on a broken bat. A lot of hitters spend hours sitting in front of that bone. Some guys have used different types of beverage bottles that had a smooth round edge on them. They'll sit there and bone the bats pretty much the same way. Some hitters think it's a waste of time. A lot of hitters feel like it makes that bat, because you put the grain a little closer together, makes it a lot harder. I guess in some ways it does. The waste of time, though, is when you bring it out and break it on the first swing. Again, Marty goes foul, and another broken bat.
Oh. That's getting costly.
Alexander can be a little tricky with that off-speed pitch. He kind of squirts it out of his hand. It's a changeup that he'll throw, even a changeup off the changeup. And I think where Marty is getting is down a bit toward the end of the bat, at least on this one.